that money flow. We'll keep the shiny side up wherever we go. Set your own schedule, master of the road, hauling freedom's cargo, lightening up your load. Tips and tricks for truckers, yeah, we're helping you from dawn till dusk. We'll see it through. Staying driven hard in it every mile, hunting gears and wearing a smile. From hustling 60 truckers, yeah, we're helping you from dawn till dusk. We'll see it through. Staying driven hard in every mile, hunting gears and wearing a smile. From hustling city streets to the country lane, driven trucking, we ease the strain. Keep your eyes on that line, from sunrise to moonshine. Owner operators, this show's for you. Tune in, get tips, and roll on through. From diesel fumes to mountain views, we'll guide your way, hauling grit and glory every single day. On the rubber, feel the freedom in every bend. Driven trucking, your best highway friends. Staying driven hard in it every mile, hunting gears and wearing a smile. From hustling 60 truckers, yeah, we're helping you from dawn till dusk. We'll see it through. Staying driven hard in every mile, hunting gears and wearing a smile. From hustling city streets to the country lane, driven trucking, we ease the strain.
I did it again. Dang it, I did it again. I'm sorry, guys. I keep forgetting to unmute it. I guess I get so excited to. Yeah, he's a real trucker, you could tell. Man, I did this yesterday. I said I like that was my one goal today was to not forget about the audio button. I click it and it's because I'm just not savvy with Streamlabs. And the first day I went live, I think I had it unmuted, right? And so it was a little bit of feedback, and like that's one of my nightmares is messing up audio. Dang it! So let's start over. Bummer. Anyway, if okay, so if you're watching this on the replay and you made it through all of that tragedy, check the pinned comment down below. I will timestamp when the actual trucking market update starts. Thanks for being here. So really quick before I jump into it, um, a gentleman asked a question yesterday. Can you search by commodity on DAT's load board? I couldn't find it. Right. I looked and I couldn't find it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email out to my rep and see if that's a thing. You would think that that could possibly be a thing. Maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe I couldn't find it. So I did look, but unfortunately, I'll have to get back to you whenever she is takes time out of her busy schedule to be able to answer my questions. So a couple of updates that I want to go into. First, last night went out and had a fantastic dinner with my wife. And the reason we went out is because she got invited to what's called a heavy hitters dinner. So she sells Cadillacs here in Houston at Sewell, and she had a phenomenal May. Right, you have to hit certain standards in order to be invited to this. So we went out to that. Super proud of her. Had a great time. We had a great time, and just wanted to throw that out there because I'm really proud. And then also, I didn't mention it yesterday, and I wanted to, and I just forgot. I've been doing carnivore for about 6 weeks, and I know some of you just rolled your eyes, but hear me out. It's been amazing, right? Um, but I hit a milestone. I hit a milestone, and I've lost over 25 pounds already, and it's been a game changer for me. I cannot see myself going any other way for quite some time. But that being said, we had a nice cheat meal last night, and slipped in some carbs and slipped in some sugars and slipped in some wine, and not feeling the greatest this morning, but that's okay. Well worth it. So just wanted to put those couple things out there because I'm really happy and really excited about those. And also the dad joke calendar will be here on Saturday. So I'll be able to start that on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to that, probably more so than anybody. Some of them are really good, some of them are terrible, but hey, we'll just have a good time with it. So let's say some hellos. Hi, Jamie. Nope. Hi. Well, I mean, hi, Jamie. Right? Oh, there you go. I had to scroll back up. You're the first comment. So hello, Carlos. So I answered this, but y'all didn't hear me. I just thought about if certain days are better, like Friday, because companies want the freight out before the weekend. Absolutely, absolutely. The longer the freight sits there, the more the price goes up, right? Because it's just supply and demand. If there's no demand to move the load, they have to raise that demand, and the only way to raise that is to up that price. So yes, and if that freight is sat there all week, certainly going to be more. Hello, Wendy. Let's see here. Ferrero Trucking. Yeah, hello. Good morning. Um, Robert, good morning. The Killer, Jack. Yeah, I was muted. Sorry, everybody. Obviously, not seeing the comments. Yeah, the reason I couldn't see them is because the comments are way over here. So, like, I'm looking at the comments now. That's a long ways to look off. I feel like I need to be looking at you guys. Yeah, Brian is new to this. Yes, and there are gonna be it's gonna be bumps in the road for a little while I figure all of this out. But I do appreciate you guys tuning in. It hopefully you guys are catching some value. I know that I'm running long, as of right now. The average stream is like 40 to 45 minutes. But really the bulk of what you guys are tuning in for, at least I think so, there's about a 5-minute window where I cover kind of what's going on with the nation, with what's going on with the load boards. And so I think that that's probably where the most value is. If you guys stick around for longer than that, I sincerely appreciate it. I know that there's not a ton of information that I can report on daily, but having these updates on a daily basis, in that short form, I think is invaluable. And so hopefully it helps you guys out, and I can at least do something for you, right? I am gonna try to figure out how to take that about 5 minutes of loaded info and stick it on TikTok somehow. We'll see. I'm gonna try to figure that out. If I can do it without taking up too terribly much time, I am gonna do that. So look out for that. But anyway, hope you guys are doing all right. It was actually really good to do it that way to help the algorithm. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to waste you guys' time. But anyway, so I've already probably done that enough. Let's dive right in to this trucking market update. So, as always, we're going to start with the state national load count, loads in versus loads out. Keep in mind, this is the entirety of states and not necessarily the hot markets. Looking right off, so Alabama is in rough shape. I hope you're not headed to Alabama. If you are, that one's rough. Arkansas still looking good. It's been looking good all week. Not phenomenal, where you have a huge amount of negotiating power, but pretty good. California is about the same. It's in good shape, and you'll see on the heat map today that California is actually it's expanded the heat map. So they're struggling to get some freight out over there. Probably get some really good rates right now. Georgia not looking good at all overall. The entirety of the state, just almost 2,000 loads in and almost 1,200 loads out. That's pretty rough for Georgia. Excuse me. I got heartburn this morning from the wine last night. Iowa still looking good. Surprisingly, Illinois is looking even better than what it was yesterday. About 1,149 loads in to 2,075 loads out. So Illinois certainly looking good, looking much better than what it was early this week. So if you are headed that way, make sure you negotiate for the best rate. Indiana still hot, has been hot all weeks. Probably wasn't necessarily the state of the week, is what we found out yesterday, but still in really good shape. Kentucky's looking okay. It's a little above average. Let's see here. Minnesota looking pretty good. Michigan about 50-50. So, it's got Michigan's always, I always found out Michigan's kind of hit or miss. Hit or miss. North Dakota, hot, and heating up even more, as much as North Dakota can, right? You got 57 loads in to 137 loads out. So, keep that in mind. It's not like there's a ton of freight up there, but at the same time, that was the state that we found out yesterday. Even they're just posting right out of the gates some pretty good rates. So get some good rates out of there, out of North Dakota and up there in Minnesota. Let's move down a little bit more. Sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet. I slept in a little bit longer than what I usually do. Ohio still looking good. Oregon not bad. Overall, like just the volumes just seems a little low. Pennsylvania is still in good shape. Not great, not as it was earlier, but still in good shape. Sorry if you guys can hear my dogs in the background. Um, my wild one is wanting to play right now, apparently. And then Wisconsin looking really good as well. Kind of that the Midwest, that northern Midwest, looking really good, looking really solid. Let's go ahead and look at these trend lines. We are getting late into the week, and I've already covered these, so I'm not going to go real deep. I'm just going to kind of flash these on the screen because these don't change. They change on a weekly basis. I'll dive more into these numbers on Mondays, but all of this it's all going to be the same. So we're still at 369 per gallon of fuel across the board. So looking at the heat map, so this is current day. All right. So what we've got is this western area, it's all changed. Right. Everything outside of California was blue over here. I think except maybe Nevada and Utah, they were light blue, but they're starting, they're starting to change, starting to heat up, like we saw earlier. The Oregon area, it's always going to be Portland area, right? That's where all the freight's going to be at over in Oregon, or the majority of it anyway. It's starting to heat up. The majority of California is now red today, whereas yesterday it was just the Los Angeles area down here. Dallas and Houston, always red as typical. Houston's plus 98, so that was better than what yesterday was, I think. And then Dallas being plus 76. That's mediocre, I would say. Looking up here at the Midwest, though, this is where hopefully you are, and probably making all of the money. Chicago. Now, yesterday, actual Chicago market was red, and whereas today is just a larger portion is pink. Michigan, still it's pink-ish. I think that's pretty solid for Michigan. Indiana, Ohio, still hot. You got the Charlotte market over here in North Carolina is really hot. So if you're over here in this Atlanta area, if you can't negotiate for a really good rate coming out of here, might want to bounce over to North Carolina, or at least give some calls and see what you can find over here, because there's a lot of trucks in Atlanta at the moment, and with that North Carolina heating up, you might be able to find a good one and hop over. Phoenix is heating up, but that's really suspect. I don't think I trust that one. That's just not a market where a lot of freight is moving out. So let's see what you guys have to say about all of that. Let's see here. We know your trucking knowledge outweighs the learning curve. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that. Hey, I sure will. I will tell her congrats from all my YouTube peeps. Um, YouTube Shorts will help you, but yeah, yeah. Eventually, I'm gonna do all of that as well. Carlos fueled up today for 287 with Pump Price app in Cleveland, Texas, just in case anyone's in the area. Nice. That's pretty solid. I have not kept up with diesel prices. I'll just be honest with you. It's not something that, I really need to do for the past couple of years. But it's good to hear that, some of the nation is at least under $3 a mile or $3 a gallon. Hopefully, hope I don't lose anybody on this one, but I will step out there and say this. If Trump gets in office, I fully believe that diesel price is going to come down. So we will see. We'll see. Um, what? Okay, so you said Pump Price app. Is that the name of it? Because I'd love to look that up and see what that's all about. Pump Price app, because I know there's ton of fueling apps, and I mean, I wasn't familiar with it because that's not something that I necessarily dealt with whenever I was out on the road. So let's have a look at just kind of overall what we're seeing in the markets in a 150-mile deadhead radius. Equipment type's going to be vans. We're always going to be looking at vans. The reason we're going to be looking at vans, I know I was a skateboarder, but at the same time, the majority of trucks out there are pulling vans, so that's why we're looking at vans. Carlos cheapest I found in Ohio. The cheapest I found in Ohio is 315. I ran over to PA, like Brian said. Loads look great, but fuel was 450. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. If you can slip in, like ideally, you could take that load into Ohio, fuel up, but not at the border, because they know you you hit that fuel at the border. It's going to cost you a lot more. So hope if you can sneak in on the west side and then get straight back out. It didn't always work out that way, but yeah, PA's real proud of their fuel. So in Houston, in a 150-mile deadhead radius, looks like 796 exact results, but over 2,200 similar results. So not bad, not bad. Where were we? Okay, so we want to head up to Indianapolis. See what that rate is looking like. And by the way, basically what I've done for the stream is the majority of the great information is out. Um, I know it's short. So if you guys have a specific lane that you want me to look at, please drop it in the comments. That way I can, look that up for you guys, because really that's what, you guys that are hanging around, sticking around, I sincerely appreciate it, and I'd love to provide you guys the most value. But you got the Houston up to Indianapolis. Not looking like it's paying all that great. Well, that's a partial. You got a partial if you can fit it, but it's 33 feet. I mean, that's a little ridiculous. Let's see what this. So the entirety of the spot rate's 1859, and they're trying to charge 1225 for 33 feet. I mean, I would try. I wouldn't. I don't know how the partials worked in the vans, to be honest with you. Partials in flatbed pay great. That's the most highly paid outside of your super heavy hauls and all those guys. LTL flatbed is the way to go, or LTL step deck, whatever. They're the same thing. So I don't know how it works in the van market if you can do the same thing, but that's, to me, seems a little cheap for that much real estate in the van. I probably would not run that for less than $1,500, and they're probably not going to want to run that for $1,500. So then you got Laporte up to Plainfield, Indiana, 43,652. That's TQ. Well, whoa, what's wrong with this load? It's hazmat. I figured it had to be something. And we got $1.44, $1.49. So just not great, right? Just not great. Let's see similar results. I mean, oh, why is this sorted by newest? We want to sort rate per mile highest always. That way we can scroll down and see what's good. $1.72 a mile is the best that I'm seeing coming out of Houston, going up to Indianapolis. Let's see. We've got something. If you want to bounce all the way over to Louisiana and run up to Lafayette, Indiana, this one's super hot. No Landstar. No Landstar. No exceptions. Delivery on 9/4. They're trying to get you to pick this up this early? Hmm. Not crazy about that, but that is why it's paying well above the spot rate. So, eh, not not crazy about that. Where are you guys at? Most likely Houston deliver tomorrow, then a long run for the weekend is the usual MO for me. So maybe go to Arkansas. Yeah, that's quite the bounce, though. I mean, from Houston, it's not horrible, but and as a matter of fact, I have bounced all the way up to Texarkana, probably further, but out of Houston, I've gone as far as I think Texarkana to catch a load for the weekend. So you running, Carlos? You running a van? We're gonna look at the major markets real quick, because why not? Carlos might have hit it out on me. That's okay. So in coming out of Chicago in that 150-mile deadhead radius, almost 3,200 results. I mean, that's really solid for Chicago. You can probably find some really good loads. What is this van? That's got to be a mis. Yeah, that's a mispost, because it's 1,243 on the spot rate and 12,000. So just assume that that's 1,200. They just want eyes on it. It's a hot load. When I see the mistakes like that, I always assume that it's a hot load. So if I were to call on this particular one, let's say this one suited my fancy and I wanted to run out of Beloit, Wisconsin down to Springfield, Missouri, and I called on that, I'm trying to get a lot more out of that rate, right? I'm probably trying to get somewhere around contract rate or contract rate plus, because the reason that they do that, in my opinion, now, of course, people fat finger all the time. It just is what it is. But I also think that they do it on purpose too, to get more eyes on their loads, right? Because I mean, obviously, that was the first thing that I saw. Whoa, $12,000 load. That's crazy what we got. So I liked to call on those loads and negotiate heavily, and a lot of times that worked out in my favor. So you got Bolingbrook over to Atumwa. I don't know if I said that right. 8,000 pounds, paying $8.24 a mile. So many drops it is. I bet you. Yep, 4 deliveries. Now, the good thing about Iowa is it's easy to get around. Sometimes they can be a little spread out, but I know I had a buddy that was running. He would run out of Dallas. He lived in Houston. He would run up to Dallas, grab a load, run up to Chicago, deliver, and then he would grab a load out of Chicago that would run over to Iowa, and it was multiple drops, and it was anywhere from 4 to 8 drops, and he was killing it. Now he was running hard, but he was making some pretty damn good money doing all that. So um, that was pretty solid. Jack runs LTL flatbed out of the Ohio area, so you're making lots of money. I have hazmat endorsement. My service is lagging. Most likely Houston. Okay. All right. So you can actually run these. Well, is the company that you run for, Carlos, like is it set up to actually run hazmat, or do you just have the X endorsement? Um LTL flatbed out of the Ohio area, you're in a lovely spot to get paid there, Jack. Let's look up Columbus. I want to look up flatbed rate because why not? Flatbeds. Are you running a 48 or a 53? I'll just stick 48 in there for now. We'll search 150. I should have bumped that up to 200, but that's all right. Let's get rid of this. What do we got? LTL flatbeds. You're probably running short hops, I imagine. You got one running out of Cincy going over to Coatesville, PA. 46,180 pounds. That's heavy. Hopefully, if you are you running a light flatbed, dude, it's great. 48, yeah. 46,180. Can your truck handle 46,180? That's heavy. I didn't like to pull that heavy, especially if I was headed across the mountains over there. That was no fun. What we got here? What Independence, Missouri. This one would be decent. No tarps. It's got 2 picks on it. 47,600 pounds. I'd be out on that. Sugar Creek, Missouri. Fifth wheel freight. I'm pretty sure I hauled for them once or twice. 2 picks, 1 drop. This is probably same load. Yeah, 47.6 on the weight. Why are they multiple posting? It's unnecessary. Always hated that. Flatbed with sides. 45,000 pounds running out of Dover, running over to Richmond. I mean, that's a decent short hop. That's TQL. 350 a mile. Flatbed Conestoga only. That's kind of cheap for a short haul with a Conestoga. I mean, I know 350 miles nothing to like shake a stick at, but it's TQL. What do you expect? Oh, what else we got? You can run up to Buffalo. That's probably not the greatest. You probably got some pretty decent contacts up in Michigan. That's 48,000 pounds. What's up with all these heavy loads? What we got here? Pataskala, Ohio, running down to Max Meadows, Virginia. It's light load, 10,000 pounds. No information. Gotta love that. It's above spot rate, but it's at $950 mark. That's never good enough for me. Yeah, I try and not go over 40K. I'm in the Cleveland area. Yeah. Yeah, 40. Yeah, that's fair. Let's drop this down to 40,000. See what else we got. Let's just change it in Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio. That's horrible. I don't care if that is a partial. 14 foot. They're trying to take up 14 feet of deck space at $1 a mile. I mean, That's not terrible, I guess. I mean, so here's what you can do. You can look at that. I mean, 14 feet is less than half the deck, right? It's less than half the deck, but the spot rate's 5,200. So you take the 2,500, and that's more than half of that. So is it paying well? Yeah. But the nice thing about it is you can always get a bump on partials, always, because it's difficult for them to move. Let's keep it though. Let's keep it to Midway. Do you run over to Virginia? Got this Pittsburgh to Salem, 372 a mile, 15,000 pounds. No other info than that. 1250. That would check all of my boxes, but I know not everybody ran the same as I did. Work harder needs coffee. Hey, I think you were the one work harder yesterday that was asking about if you can search by commodity. Is that right? My company tries to get me to run over 600 miles, but I like staying at 600 miles since they say exempt, but I don't believe them. Yeah, 600 miles in a day is that's pushing it. I mean, when I was really running hard, that's what I would aim for, but depends on where I was at, of course, in the United States, right? Of course. But 600 miles was always kind of the goal unless I was just beat down, ragged down. Okay, so I did answer your question earlier, but I'll answer it really quickly again. I could not find where you could search for commodity. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to send an email to my rep and see if that's a thing, right? You would think so, but I mean, at the same time, I'm not a coder, so I have no idea how difficult that would be, and I would imagine that would be some probably pretty difficult coding, especially to keep it running. So I don't know. I couldn't find it whenever I looked through, but at the same time, I'm not sure. So there's the answer to your question, but I don't have the full answer to your question. Jack says he'll go anywhere that pays, but I like to come home after a day or two. I have my own DOT numbers, so I have very nice. Okay. Are you running, do you, so if you're running skateboard, are you using DAT or are you using truck stop? 53 step on 3-axle is worth it. Yeah. If you can keep 3-axle freight on the step deck, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was because when I bought that 53-foot step deck, I was actually considering getting a 3-axle. Um, and this was when I was still at Mercer, and I mentioned it to my dispatcher over there. Good guy, really good guy, and he told me that I should probably talk with somebody that was higher up, right? And they actually advised against me getting a triple axle. Um, yeah, I was gonna upgrade trucks at the time because the truck that I was running, it would have been okay, but I would have had to have run really slow, and it would have been all right with the 3-axle, but I mean, I wound up not going with it, and that even when I was over at Landstar, I didn't see a lot of triple axle freight. I'm sure it's there. I'm sure a lot of it doesn't get posted. You just have to know the right brokers that work over there. But you can make some pretty damn good money doing that. Oh, that was a question. I didn't even see the question mark at the end. So Sergey, is it Sergey? Um, it's a matter of if you can keep it loaded, and that's difficult to do. It's difficult to do. Um, that's the hardest thing. And a lot of the companies that are running kind of specialized freight like that, they just don't have enough contracts, right? I'm not going to call any of them out specifically because I don't want to put anybody on blast, but the ones that are running very, very specific loads, um, just don't flat have enough freight to go around. So your P&L is really it's really swingy. That was my biggest reason why I went to Landstar. Like, yeah, can you get better than 20% being taken out of your money? Yeah, of course you can. But they're one of the largest owner operator companies, if not the largest. I'm sure they probably still are, but it they're able to negotiate such good rates because of their rating and because of how many trucks that they have, that despite them taking out 20%, your revenue is just flat higher unless you have your own numbers, right? That was the only way to make more money, in my opinion. But I always wanted consistency, right? I wasn't necessarily looking for the home runs, anything like that. I just wanted consistency. I was comfortable with consistency, and so that's why I went there. I'm not necessarily endorsing them. They've got their pros, they've got their cons, but that was why I went there. Jack, you're switching to DAT load boards like Truck Smarter that are free. Do they get the crappy loads? I'm running Truck Stop now, but seriously considering switching. I watch Truck Smarter, but never use them. Uh, I mean, back in the day, yeah, that's how it was. Certainly. Um, because these companies have to pay to put these loads on the load board. So there's got to be profit margin there, right? That they've got to make. Um, so they have to have better loads. That's just the way that it is. DAT is going to have the most loads. Um, when I was running, I have to be careful. You guys got to forgive me, but when I was running load boards, I did it for 6 months, right? I ran DAT as well as another load board when I was running my step deck. Um, and we'll just leave it at that. Now, I know what I do know is that DAT's been putting a lot of effort into really ramping up, their decks, their deck freight. As far as how it is now, I don't know. Um, in my opinion, and I haven't looked at other load boards in a while, so I don't know what they have to offer. But is the tools that DAT offers, I think, are nearly invaluable. I really do. And my Wi-Fi is acting up. Sorry, guys. And so being able to negotiate for the best rates, because these things change weekly, right? You can't always demand 350 a mile. It's just not it's not realistic, right? So arming yourself with the best knowledge every single day is going to help you out so much more, because it's going to sway you one of two directions. It's going to sway you to either negotiate harder, negotiate a better price, or it's going to sway you the other way, where you probably just need to go ahead and grab a load. That way you're not sitting there. And yeah, you may take a hit, but it all averages out in the end, really, truthfully. So, my biggest thing was just keeping those wheels moving, keeping the wheels turning. If they ain't turning, you ain't earning, right? That's what everybody says. So, um, I don't know, Jack. I don't know. That autistic trucker, you're not the only one. Does military freight pay well at all? I've heard a guy at a truck stop claiming that they have a contract to make a $5 a mile on military freight. I'm just a stupid reefer hauler, so I have no idea. He's probably a little full of it. However, what I will say, yes, there are absolutely plenty of contracts that pay that much, but the it depends on who he's contracted with, because smaller companies typically do not have those types of contracts. It's usually pretty good sized companies. Uh, but there are team driving high priority loads that pay that much. Um, if you're unfamiliar with high priority loads, those are the loads where one driver must be at the truck at all times. Like they literally both cannot walk in the truck stop at the same time. And you'll have a pilot that's with you that'll drive along with you, whether you know it or not. So they do have those loads. They do exist. They do have those contracts. They do exist. It's just there's few and far between. So I mean, if he's out there running, one of those, oh, what's that? RE Legacy sleeper? Is that what it is? I forget. It's been a while. If he's out there with his big, his big bad Peterbilt with the RE sleeper in the back, yeah, he probably does have one. But that doesn't necessarily say, yeah, he's got that contract or not. Just makes it a little more likely. Ernie, good morning, everyone. Y'all have a good day. Stay safe and take care. Yep, you too, Ernie. Keep the shiny side up. That's why getting the economy back on track is important, and broker transparency. 100% DC. 100%. That's one of my goals, man. It's a long-term goal. I talked about this a little bit, and I'm not going into depth as far as what I'm doing, but that is my goal. Ultimately, if I could clear up broker transparency in my life, I will have accomplished what I set out to accomplish with the trucking industry. That's why I'm back. That's why I'm doing this. Period. Um, Despite what I've seen in the comments and what some believe, I'm truly trying to help. I don't I don't do this because I need to do this, right? I mean, I just do this because I truly enjoy helping people. That's why I decided to teach rather than be an entertaining vlog, right? Um, I just wanted to help, and that was just over my short career. It was only 10 years as a driver, but that was one of the biggest things that I saw that really I think everybody could get on board with is more transparency from brokers. So, long-term goals, big goals, lofty goals, but if the moon, lines up with retrograde Mercury and all that good stuff and everything comes to fruition, and you know, I will help with that. So, we'll see. But anyway, absolutely, Carlos. You guys stay safe out there. Hope you guys are getting some value from this. The bulk of the value is going to be from that kind of 5 to 10 minute window where I cover generically from the start. If you've got any suggestions as far as what you would like to see, what do you think could provide more value? I'm thinking weather may be helpful. I know some people just kind of truck along and they never look at the weather, and it blows my mind. There wasn't really a big storm. There's one up in the Midwest, but that's not really gonna, well, very northern Midwest, north of Minnesota, so that's not really gonna affect too many people. But outside of weather and just kind of keeping it generic, keeping the bulk of the information in a 5 to 10 minute window where I can size that down and redistribute that across different platforms would be ideal. So if you got any suggestions, not here in the live comment, you would have to come back or on the replay, but leave that comment so that way I can see that. And I'm happy to look up different lanes for people that want to hang out and stay longer than that 5 to 10 minute window. So I appreciate all of you guys. You guys stay safe out there. Above all, stay safe. So, uh, will you go over trucking news? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I forgot. I knew there was two things that I couldn't remember the other one, so I was like, I'm not going to mention it. But yes, trucking news is something that I do want to touch on when it's major. Asian Mayan, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but Mother Trucker, Asian Mai, he's kind of locked in on the news as in general, and he puts out a lot of it. But when there is something major, that is definitely something that I want to start getting into. Kind of generic trucking freight overall, news and weather, I think would be the most helpful for owner operators in about a 5 to 10 minute span. So hopefully you guys agree with that. Once again, thanks everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day. Keep the shiny side up, but as always, stay driven.